You're not even in with the beat. You're just like slamming your hands on the table all willy-nilly, like the Down syndrome kid at the Nickelback concert. Was that not you slapping the desk and whatnot?
Nope, my mic was muted.
Oh my god! I'm sitting here like, Billy's unmuted himself, and he's like slapping. I'm like, oh my god, this is, it's like.
So we had the issues yesterday. I think there's a little lag issue going on, so the intro might have sounded weird, but who gives a shit? Welcome to the Liberty Risk Podcast. I'm Billy.
I'm Hugh.
And I'm Megan.
Are you taking your new meds again? Taking new meds a little bit slow on the response time?
I've been having this bourbon, and also I'm supposed to be on a clear liquid diet, so all I've had for the past 2 days really is chicken broth.
So you're going to be fucking schmammered tanked by the end of this show.
I just had some salmon and noodles.
Does bourbon count as clear liquid?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess.
Well, so taking new applications for a female co-host, one who can keep it together and hold their liquor. Somebody I don't know what the actress's name is, but I'm looking for a Raiders of the Lost Ark type character.
That's me.
Not even close.
That's me. What the fuck was that? That's me.
Meg's like, I can do that, and most people are like, rum in the mouth.
Look, mommy, I'm on TV.
I'm a real sailor. I drink at the baseball with the real sailors.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh my god!
You don't do that again.
So really quick before we get into it, I listened to On the Deal podcast on Spotify. There's the episode with Priscilla is fantastic. If you haven't heard it yet, the keynote is that their guest made a complaint and stuck with it and didn't give up. And then a lot of people started getting called out and reports started getting made.
53?
It was 53 or 57 in 1 week. Complaints made after realizing that she was not giving up.
I did like that one.
Following suit. If you haven't heard it, On the DL, it's either episode 8 or 9 or something. Give it a look. It's a good one. It's on Spotify. I don't know if I can say Spotify. Happy. Yeah, because you turn them on and you're like, here we go. Here's another 48 hard minutes. And she was just like, here's what I did. Here's what happened. This is what you got to do. Man, you right. She right. It was nice to hear a story of somebody powering through and not giving up, and then people actually getting their due diligence.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. And we've talked about this before. It's awesome what they're doing over there at that podcast and getting the voices heard and everything, and the information that just coming out of it, like that podcast alone, gives women that, oh shit, okay, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. There's one of their other episodes, they were talking about social media, and I don't know if you guys follow DD214 memes.
No.
I think so.
You should follow it because the Instagram handle @Corman was called out for some unsavory shit and trying to clout, I have 100,000 followers, and they're just roasting him entire like, hey, you send your dick to people, you're a piece of shit. Hey, nobody fucking cares about you. Stop harassing these people. Quit threatening them. And now his followers are going down like every fucking day. These people are calling him out. So
really,
who is this?
It's @Corman on Instagram, and these people are just fucking dogging him for being a piece of shit and putting him on blast all over the place. It's fucking hilarious. So DD214 memes, you keep doing you guys. I appreciate you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I think
I think when the internet first came around, a lot of people probably expected we'd be using it for research and to connect and whatnot. And I like that we finally got to the point where we're like, I'm sorry, I can ruin people's careers where my chain of command didn't. Well, happy birthday, me! You tell me people have their DD214 and will just ruin their lives? Oh, golly! What a time to be alive!
I mean, just having a cell phone and being able to text, you probably ruined that one guy's day that messaged me.
Yeah, that was a good time. I'm very happy with that.
Whatever happened with that? Did anything more?
So, did we actually say what happened?
I don't think we ever did.
So anyway, to recap, Meg was talking to this guy, and he was being a dick, saying she had to prove she was worth him dating, and she had to measure up. And he revealed that he was a CB and potentially a reservist. And so I'm in a class with a chief that is in that AO. And I said, hey, I don't really know what to do here. I don't really think the command needs to get involved, but I think somebody just needed to tell him, hey, if this is you, you need to knock this shit off.
Stop being a fucking chucklehead.
Yeah. So he texted this guy and was like, if this is you, I recommend you change the manner in which you conduct yourself. And he was like, roger that. And that's the end of it. That's that lowest level that everybody was talking about.
Yep.
The however many years you all served and never once got to see it. I finally got to see it firsthand. Kept it at the lowest level. Hopefully that was the guy. Hopefully the problem is solved and the problem stayed solved.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hear anything from him because
because now all you would have had to do is screenshot those, put them on the internet, and within no time at all, somebody's going to be calling him from his chain of command, reaming him a fucking new one.
Yeah.
Reserve or active. Internet's a wonderful tool. Keeps delivering.
Yeah. I'm too cool to have to make a cut.
Okay, then you just calm down. Calm down.
You guys say that every week. You're like, we're gonna get rid of Megan. She hasn't made it yet.
Well, we don't have as many applicants that have your, I want to say vigor, but it's really it's really your willingness to tell somebody to eat a bag of shit.
This is true.
Which is literally what I told that guy to do.
Yeah. So
he was like, "Are you actually mad at me?" I'm like, "Dead ass." Like,
dead ass mad, you piece of shit.
I literally
people like that.
Ass,
at what point in your life did your mom say it was appropriate for you to speak to another woman that way?
Yeah. Oh, you have to be cool enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me, are you cool enough for me?
And I think regionally there are different reactions. Like if you're from New England, I think that you're about to get the ever loving hell slapped out of you by like your moms and your aunts and whatnot. And then if you're in the South, it's, oh, you said what? Go get Granny a Switch.
Yeah.
And then bite down on this stick because you're gonna need it. So
that's pretty much
how was your weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend?
Oh, it was just fabulous.
You don't have to say it like that.
Mine was all right.
I got a paddleboard. I got a Switch. I read. I went swimming. Like, come on, guys. You got to live your best life.
Yeah. How much did you pay for your books?
Oh, so what happened was I'm looking for something and I don't know what it is yet, but I know I'm going to find it in like a thrift store or one of those oddities places. So I went to this place up in town and I found these books. I found one by the works of Alfred Lord Tennyson, which is for me. Found another one. Don't even remember what it was. But this third one I found was volume 6 in a series of 6 books by Winston Churchill. And this one was talking about the Russian front during World War II. I thought, man, that'd be really cool. Like, I'd like to read this. I'm thinking maximum $50. You all used books. None of these are brand new. So I get up to the counter and she's ringing them up and she's like, okay, your total is $570 something and change. And I was legitimately too embarrassed to say, oh no, thank you. I made a mistake. Because I didn't even look at the price tag or anything. I just assumed used books, I'd be paying $50. I could see the Churchill one paying like 100 tops for all 3. Man, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm buying them. Fuck it, I'm powering through. So I sat on them for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. They're just gonna sit on the shelf at home. I'm not gonna read them. So I took them back and returned them today. And then because I'm such a terrible person, I did some math in my head and I was like, oh, I got $540 back. A Switch and 2 games cost less than that. So I went and got something I know I'm going to get my use out of. So.
You're gonna play it in class under your desk?
No, I'm not gonna take it. It's gonna be like a gift because I do have my math class I have to do homework for. So if I get through a homework assignment, then I will play a little bit of the Switch and vice versa. Fingers crossed, anyways.
How are your classes going? Are you failing?
Not yet.
Jesus,
but only because nothing is due yet.
That's so dumb.
I technically have a 100 because there are no deadlines yet. So, woohoo.
I got a 95 on a quiz today, so I'm doing well.
Mazel to you. I'm
coloring in the lines doesn't count, Meg.
On criminal justice research.
Would you draw the chalk outline of a body?
Yeah, hey, I would probably be good at that. I can draw stick figures like no other. You don't have to do a portrait. No, it's gonna look like that.
No snap on snack. You throw in a box of crayons and you're a basic Marine.
That's why you gotta get colored pencils for us classy people.
Okay, calm down there. All right, so today's guest we're pretty excited about. He's from the VFW Post down in Chesapeake. Ron is I believe it's deputy vice commander or lower junior vice commander. Thank you. The VFW Post in Chesapeake, Virginia. So he's going to talk to us about a lot of different things the VFW not only has going on, but the services that they can offer you guys, which I think is important because I think a lot of people get out and they have a view of the VFW and they choose not to join. And I think they're really missing out on some opportunities and whatnot. So, Billy, let's go ahead and bring in Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going
guys?
on?
How you doing?
Good. You got a fresh beer? Do you need to go get one? We got time.
No, I'm good. I was going to get a water actually because it's getting that kind of night. So if you were close. I'm from Chesapeake, but I'm in the Norfolk Post.
You're in the Norfolk Post. I apologize.
Yeah, that's all right, bro. The guys in Chesapeake have been trying to recruit me because I was thinking about running for council after I got out of the Navy, and they're like, it'd be better if you're with our post, but I love my Norfolk Post, so it's really hard to leave a post you've been at for 17 years.
Oh wow, 17 years, geez.
Yeah.
So Ron, would you mind telling us what was the VFW like when you joined 17 years ago, and what is it like now?
Yeah, no problem. So, I think 17 years ago isn't even enough time to go back. If we do the Wayback Machine and we say like 35 years ago, what you're doing right now, Hugh, is what they were all doing, right? They're blowing the smoke everywhere. They're doing that, and it's all over the place. And it's just a smoky place that never gets cleaned. The glasses may or may not be clean. The beer may or may not be cold. And the stories may be really stale, and that's what we used to be. I think if you turn back the clock a long time ago, I joined
Ron
17 years ago.
Ron, just to be fair, 35 years ago was only 1985.
Yeah, well, I graduated high school then, and I wasn't even in Navy yet. So
that's not even.
That's what I'm saying. If you go back even further than that, that's where it was kind of froggy, right? And now. I joined 17 years ago. I was in E6 in the Navy, stationed here in Norfolk. I'd been an American Legion member for about 6 or 8 years before that. I was in E4, joined American Legion because I hadn't yet deployed. And then when I became eligible for the VFW, go into a war zone or get an expeditionary medal, I said, you know what, let's join the V. And so I joined the VFW Post. And we went around to a couple of them. Some are friendly, some are not, even today, just that's one of the challenges, right? You have to be your advocate. You got to go around, see what's going on in these clubs. Some of the clubs have people that you want to hang out with and some don't, and so the post that we're a part of has about 1,100 members. About 100, 150 show up on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Some of our members are all around the world. That's one of the challenges. We're in Norfolk, the world's biggest naval station in the world. So people go everywhere after they retire from here, but they keep their membership at our post.
Okay.
My wife, we had 3 kids at the time when we first joined the post, and the post was really family friendly. My wife and I came in and we visited with folks, and we would come out for a steak night on a Friday night. And there was an old guy named Gary that used to make steaks that night. And I'm not going to spend $10 on a steak for a kid that's 3 years old. He's not going to eat it, right? But he let me bring a pack of hot dogs in, and he'd make hot dogs for my kids, That's really cool. And that was the atmosphere that we tried to bring in as family oriented, right? Mm-hmm. And then nights that I was on deployment, I knew my wife could go somewhere. And she didn't have to worry about a bunch of chuckleheads. I love that Billy said that earlier, chuckleheads. We're going to try to pick her up, man. And she was in a safe place, and that's what I look at our clubs. Our clubs are a safe place for families. They're a safe place for members, and they're a safe place for active duty guys. Fleet Forces has us all on kind of lockdown out here. The active duty guys can't go out and play right now in Hampton Roads.
Right.
And looking for that to change, hopefully sometime when the King of Richmond changes his mind. I know you said it wasn't supposed to be political, but hey, he deserves a title. He gets one.
I think we all share that opinion of him. I think we all share the same opinion of him. That's okay.
So we're looking forward to when our guys can come back home and come out and have a good time at the post again,
So what kind of nights do you have at the post that are different from when you first joined?
Boy, when we first joined,
Like I assume there's like poker nights and pool tournaments and whatnot, but yeah, it's 2020. I assume either the crowd has changed or the interests have changed.
Well, it's kind of changed a lot. Our dynamic has shifted. The challenge has been the World War II guys and the Korea guys are dying. That's the truth of what's going on with our clubs. You know, we're going to a lot more funerals than we are, hey, welcome boards. And our challenge is the young guys are not stepping into the roles. And that's a big hole to fill. There's a lot of talented guys that are passing on and passing the torch, but there's no one picking up the torch.
So is it a problem with getting people to join the VFW or a problem with getting people to want to be on seats at the VFW?
It's a little bit of both. I think it's really an interesting thing. My wife and I were fortunate enough to go down to Orlando last year for the national convention. And it was the first time in 27 years that the VFW had more memberships that year than the year before. And they had 25,000 new members join. So I know there's young guys out there joining, you know, and when I say young guys, I also mean gals, Meg, you know, I don't want to make you feel like I don't include you.
It's fine.
But our vets, you know, our veterans are out there doing the thing, right? I think one of the challenges we have, there are so many special interest groups out there today that are really sexy.
Yeah.
You know, and right. I love it.
Groups trying to get people into hiking and scuba diving and equestrian.
Yeah, there's a ton of talent. There's a ton of talent. But what we're talking about, you know, 30 years ago, they weren't all there.
Right.
So you got to join the VFW, the American Legion, or the Disabled American Vets. That's pretty much it. If you wanted to be part of a club, those are the three you got to go play with. And now there's all kinds of nonprofits, and they're all over the place. You know,
well, my impression would be that these nonprofits, like you say, they provide a specific thing, and I think that a lot of people are maybe unaware of the kinds of services that you can get at the VFW. Because you were saying you can get an advocate there to help you file your VA claim, even if you have zero paperwork, right?
Right. So one of our members, Kelly Pearson, I hope she's watching because I told her I was going to drop her name, so she's in the shits now.
Yeah, Kelly, you better be watching this.
Yeah, Kelly better be watching. She's out of the Ocean View Post, 3160, and there's 3 awesome posts and actually there's 10 awesome posts in Norfolk and Hampton Roads area. But there's 3 with more than 1,000 members.
Oh, wow.
It's my post 4809 in Norfolk. Off of Military. There's the Ocean View Post 3160, and then there's the Virginia Beach Post 392. They all have more than 1,000 members. The other 7 posts have about 200 or less.
Okay.
And so in our area, we have a lot of clout. We have a lot of members that are able to say, "Hey, District 2 means something." And because of that, we have a service officer that works out of District 2. There's only 3 in Virginia. There's one here. There's one out in D.C., obviously, right around the Beltway Bandits. They need one, and then out in Western Virginia to try to cover down on everything out there. And so Kelly out there at Ocean View, she will help vets go through their service records. She'll help them file their claim. If they don't have medical records, she'll go and show them how to get their records. And she's an advocate to teach us how to do our stuff for us. You know, because we got to put our big boy pants on and do things.
Interesting. Okay. So I think that's a big thing then. Maybe if people heard a little bit more, not that you guys don't put it out, I'm sure that you put that kind of information out the best you can, but I think we all know people that go to these, the transitionary courses. And because I know I did mine. Omega, you did a 1-week transition course, didn't you, when you got out?
Oh, the TAP class or whatever.
Well, it's TGPS. Yeah, man. It's TGPS now, Transition Goals Planning Success. But
I got my book here.
3 of the 5 days are Department of Labor. And I think they only mention the VFW, and they say the same thing that any other person who wants to be remembered says. Oh, they have a lot of services they can provide you, but they don't list those services. Yeah. So you just get out thinking that the VFW is a bunch of old Korean and Vietnam vets drinking Bud Heavy and Miller, trying to swap a couple war stories, and maybe they're not as interested as it used to be. I can see that being a big problem. So tell me so on top of being able to get people their claim, because thankfully my brother was watching this because I was just chewing him out for not having his claim put together earlier. So now you know where to go. What are a couple other services that you offer that the VFW can offer veterans who maybe are missing something since they got out?
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing I really loved about, I did 20 years in the Navy, and every 3 years I got this new division full of buddies, right? They were mandatory friends.
Okay.
Yep.
So those 20, 30, 40 guys, they had to be my friend. There was no choice, right? Either we're going to work together or it was going to fall apart. So I had Mando friends. When you transition out,
that's a good way
you
to
don't
look
have
at it.
those Mando
friends. Yeah, okay.
Right? I can't tell you the VFWs have Mando friends, but it's kind of close.
Okay.
There's some guys in there that will be friends with you, and there's some guys going to tell you you're doing your shit wrong, just because that's who they're built to be. I kind of like them guys. We were hanging some dartboards the other day at our post, me and the commander, Dave Alexander, and 3 of the old guys of the post. These are guys are been in for been out longer than me by 20 years. They were telling us the shit's all crooked, and that's fun. And they were razzing us, giving us some stuff, and then they all bought us around, because they knew we were trying to do something, right?
Sure.
And I think that's the camaraderie piece that we miss when we transition out. We just don't have Mando friends anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you get out and you all go to the wind, and maybe you all land in the same place, but more than likely that's not going to happen.
Well, odds are most of you guys aren't all getting out on the same day or the same year or the same decade, and that's one of the challenges. And when we get out, it just kind of goes into a funk. I talk with a lot of vets that just don't know how to connect with civilians. We'll use that word. They don't show up on time for things. They don't have the same work ethic, whatever it is. They dress funny, whatever it is, That's one thing I think TAPS did for me. It taught me how to dress better.
Sure.
If you ask my wife, she wouldn't say so. But, that's what I like about the VFW. They give me a shirt and a hat, and I'm good,
Hey, you're good to go. All you have to do is find a belt you don't hate, and you're good to go.
Yeah. But I think that's one of the things. You sit there and try to figure out how do we connect in the community we're in. We may have been a piece of that community 10, 15, 30 years ago, depending on when you got out. And now it's changed because those knuckleheads that were chuckleheads, we'll use that term, that were in high school with us are different.
Right.
Or they're exactly the same.
Do you guys do events where you talk about organizations like these other clubs that veterans can benefit from?
We're really working on trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I'll just be honest with you, because there's a lot of organizations that are out there that may, gosh, I got to be careful how I say this, are profit mongers. I'll just go there. There's people making, $100,000+ a year salaries to be running organizations out there, and the VFW is a volunteer force.
Sure. So you have to be there because you want to be there, and not because you're incentivized to be there.
Yeah, I mean, the national commander, he travels all around the world. He travels, they pay for his travel, but he doesn't have a salary. He's taken 2 years off from work to go do everything the VFW asked him to
do. That's impressive.
Wow.
That's dedication for sure.
Yeah.
Same with our state commander. He's got an obligation to do things for that year that takes him away from work. And our post commanders, same deal. They're going to have extra time at that level that keeps them really busy around the district level, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're serving, and the VFW has a statement. It's we still serve, and I love that. I just got my bumper sticker. I should have brought it in here with you, but I just got my bumper sticker from National that I'm still serving, and I think that's a really important piece that the VFW is trying to push out today, is that we're serving veterans to serve our veterans.
Right.
And I don't think there's another organization out there that will say we're just serving veterans. We're going to serve a veteran with a specific issue, a specific region, a specific thing, right?
There's a lot of times the people getting put out there on the videos and the banners, there's something you can see is wrong with them. And I think that's another big key, maybe a key reason these people are joining certain clubs is that they feel more welcome around, like you were saying, people that you can get along with. I think that those organizations are saying they make a lot of money, but they're helping, like you said, those niche group of people.
Yeah. So there's actually, I'd like to put a comment up real quick. There's from Brian Brown.
Sailors and Sticks isn't making any money. We give a lot of it out. 10,000 to the USO this year. That's awesome, Brian.
That's awesome. That's definitely awesome. I mean,
Sailors and Sticks is a small organization.
I've never heard of that organization.
Justin just added me against my will a couple of months ago, and it's all sailors who drink cigars and apparently all have really strong livers too.
They drink cigars.
They drink cigars. Oh, sorry, they smoke cigars. I'm sure one of them's tried it. I mean,
you've been drinking.
I politely remind you to stay out of my personal business.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah,
but here's the thing that I think would be amazing, right? If Sailors and Sticks was to combine with the VFW, we have 1.6 million members up in DC with advocates that have our voice. And we're able to rock the world up there. We look at the legislative priorities for 2020, and we're talking about budgetary issues that are talking about not only federal budget, we're talking about the VA benefits. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about disability and memorial affairs, how much it costs to bury a vet when he dies, and all that stuff. We're talking about education, employment, and transition assistance. But we're this 1.6 million member voice that can do incredible opportunities up in DC. And Justin, who you just referenced, he was up there last year in DC, thumping the drum with the SVA and the VFW together as a fellow. And I think that's the piece that some smaller organizations, if they were to come into our fold and allow us to help them make that even bigger, it could just be incredible.
I definitely think there's a potential opportunity as far as networking and getting the word out for a lot of these organizations that are, I don't want to say limited on their reach, but they're only getting so far.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you have personnel all over the world. Your reach is international. At almost every military post, there's a sign about the VFW, or there's paperwork in the education center about the VFW. And I could see there being a definite positive for these other organizations to help veterans by reaching out to the VFW, who you just said makes $0 and take time out of work. It costs them, I mean, I assume nothing, but I don't work for either of those companies, but just to be like, hey, will you tell people about our organization?
Yeah. Most of the guys that take that plunge are working in veteran-friendly companies. They're going to give them a leave of absence and help them out, and that's pretty cool, to say, hey, hey, boss, I'm thinking about taking 2 years, and I'm going to go up to national and do some work. And they're like, Roger that, we got your back.
Yeah.
And you can't get that with a lot of smaller organizations. You can get that with the VFW clout.
Right.
So I have a question for you. And I did see another person commenting about this. And I feel similarly as well. I've never gone into a VFW being a female veteran. I feel like there's kind of a stigma against females going into those places, that they're kind of just going to be like, you can go hang out in the corner, like you're not really a veteran kind of thing. And I do see that in some aspects. Like people look at some females and are like, you're not real. Like you didn't actually do that much. And I wonder what the VFW's, what their standpoint is on that.
The interesting part about that was there was a real big stigma, probably even 15, 20 years ago within the VFW, that female members should only be part of the auxiliary. And even if they served and they went out and valiantly served our country and they deserved to be a part of the VFW, there's a lot of folks that said maybe not. And that's changing. I can't tell you it's perfect, because there's some places that are going to still tell you should be in the auxiliary. My post, we have our adjutant who runs all our junk. She handles all our correspondence. She does everything. She's a former 2-time post All-American commander for our VFW post, and she rocks. And I probably would not even be close to having the courage to step in a junior vice role without knowing I got Kathy as part of got my back. You know,
that's
and,
awesome.
And I love Kathy. I think Kathy Goodall is a rockin' individual. She's an SKC, and she retired about 6 years ago, and she is an incredible person. When we have several others that are stepping into roles like that, but I'll tell you, it takes a lot of courage. Yeah. Because you got to be willing to say, "Oh no, man, I drew the line. I served just like you did, sucker."
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like being an E4, right? When I joined American Legion in San Diego, I was an E4, and I thought I was something hot, right? But there was Master Chiefs in that post too, and I was like, "Wow, okay, whatever."
Like, hi.
Okay, and so they had a place. They had a place in chairs that the senior guy sat in that chair, and the rest of the guys moved down the bar. So one day I purposely sat in that post all day long, and I sat at the junior chair, and I worked my way down as those guys left for the day. And I got in the Master Chief seat, and I sat there all day until a Master Chief came in and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "This is a post. This is not a ship. We are just members as members."
Yep.
As an E4, it takes a lot of stuff to do that.
Yeah.
You get your ass for that?
Huh?
No, he's not going to ream you out there.
Yeah. You know, the funny part is 2 years later, they came out with the piss cutter hat, that black hat you were talking about, Meg, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, "Hey, I walked in with my dog bowl, and that Master Chief threw $10 at me and said, buy the right damn hat, man, if you're going to come in here at least." You know?
That's awesome.
So, but I earned a lot of respect that day because I was willing to do and tell them you're wrong.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think there's a lot of, I guarantee there's a lot of people that are still showing up at these posts thinking that there's a hierarchy that is meant to be there. And it's like, listen, homie, I'll weigh my D214 against yours. And
they all salute the same, man.
The only reason mine weighs more is because I have 5 of them. Most active, you know. So you want to talk about time served, man? I got checkpoints. So
our post has E3s all the way to 06s, you know, 07s that are serving, and you couldn't tell the difference.
And that's the way it should be. You're out of the military.
45, 60 years later, everybody looks the same. They're just old.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
So
you stop comparing uniform racks and start seeing whose beard came in nicer.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. One of my favorite guys at our post is John, and they call him Combat Yeoman, you know, because he was a yeoman, but now he gives everybody a little crap, you know, so they call him Combat Yeoman, you know. Never served a day in combat like that, you know, but he gives everybody a little something, so they give him that nickname, you know. It's just really fun, you know, but we have to be willing to do it. And the post, I challenged the post, and so would our national commander, and Hal is a really good friend of mine. Hal Roche is out of the Phoebus post in Hampton. He's national commander for the VFW now, and he is challenging us to put down our biases. Okay, white, black, multiracial, whatever the situation is, sexual orientation. He said if a member can't allow a veteran into this post, you don't need to have a card.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think we had somebody comment earlier that they felt uncomfortable going in because people told her that she wasn't real. She wasn't really a vet because of what what she did in the military.
And she made another comment after that, said there's a lot of gatekeepers.
Yes,
gatekeepers.
There's a lot of people who think that you not just in the VFW, but a lot of these other pro-veteran organizations that try to dictate to you what your time in the military was worth, like their time was worth more than yours, and that's not the case. At the end of the day, every single one of us is just a number and a dollar value, and we're all replaceable. And I think once you can wrap your head around that, it makes one being in uniform a lot easier, and helps people, I think, understand why we have to do things a certain way. But once you realize that and you got out, now you have actual value. But at the time, you were the same dollar value as somebody else. Like your worth is the same as other people's, and especially in organizations like the VFW, the American Legion, DAV, and so on. You should be lifting other veterans up and doing your best to promote them, because that if every person scorned is going to go tell 10 people, and that doesn't help any of us. That means now I have to go fix 100 people's connections.
Yeah.
One of the things that is really challenging me to watch is a veteran to walk into post that's left another post.
Oh, I could only imagine.
We've had a few transition to our post now lately, because other posts are kind of not feeling them, you know, and whether they said something a little off key, made a bad remark or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I truly believe a vet is a vet.
Yeah.
Time served is time served.
If the challenge is Congress tells us who's allowed to join which club, okay. If you stood up and you raised your hand and said, I will defend the United States of America, you can join the American Legion.
Yeah. If
you deployed and went forward into a war zone or have an expeditionary medal or combat action ribbon or something like that, then you can join the VFW. That's kind of like the basics, you know. There's a whole lot of timelines of when things can be, and I sent that to you all. You know, but it's really that simple, you know. Guys can serve, they can continue to serve, and we can take care of vets. That's what it's all about. And some of the things that we do pre-COVID, we go over to the VA hospital and we serve in the spinal cord injury area because those guys can't do a whole lot. And our post will go over to the VA on Wednesdays and on Sundays once a month each. So a Wednesday and a Sunday, and they'll do bingo with the guys. And they win money to buy toiletries and sundry items in the store over there.
Oh, that's cool.
Not a big deal, you know.
No,
but it gives them something different.
It is a big. Bill's right. It is a big deal for them. Even even if you only catch them once a month, I think it might depend partly on your time in service. But I think even if you were scorned while you were in, that's twice the night I've used it. I got to settle down.
Yeah.
Just having another veteran, even if you hated your time, just having another veteran come up and be like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" and just do something nice for you, I think is an extremely uplifting event.
Yeah.
Even if you guys go.
One of the other things is on Thanksgiving, usually we have those vets come over and they'll bring a couple busloads of vets over and we'll serve them Thanksgiving dinner. And the vets will go up and we'll get what they want for dinner and bring it to them, and their attendance will help, you know. But it's the opportunity to get them out of the hospital. There's not a whole lot of chances to do that.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot of other clubs out there doing that for them.
No.
And if for any other reason, you know, I love what other guys are doing out there, but can you make that kind of impact?
Yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of people have the mindset that, like, and I agree with them, like, even if I can only help one, that's work well done.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Don't get me wrong. You're right. But you can do more.
Yeah.
And
our Portsmouth Post,
like VFW help make that happen.
Yeah. Our Portsmouth Post 993 found out about 4 vets living in a house over in Portsmouth, and the VA was paying $4,000 a month to this house, to the landlord that was giving care to those veterans. Those veterans are living in 4 bedrooms, and they would get their diaper changed at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.
That's not enough.
What the
For
fuck?
$16,000 a month. That's what that landlord was doing for them. And our veterans over at the Portsmouth Post reached out to the Chesapeake Post, and they all went in there and they pulled a vet out that had bed sores and was just about to die, took him back to the VA hospital and got him checked back in. And they're working on the other 3, and to get the lady who's running all those homes, I can't go into all that, but that's impacting vets.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's crazy.
That just made me sick to my stomach.
Don't get angry, guys.
But that's what's going on. But nobody's looking after those guys because they don't have anybody to watch over them.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
That's that giving back. That's the staying connected. In the VFW, it's Portsmouth could have just been like, "Hey, we're just going to keep this internal." But
yeah,
you know, that willingness, you know, that reaching out and knowing that you could contact Chesapeake or Phoebus or Hampton or Norfolk or whomever, and you know that there are people.
We're going to
all
bring
over
the troops, man.
Yeah, there's everybody all over the place who can get it taken care of.
Yeah, and I that's some of the things that get me excited about serving.
Yeah,
you know, and then when we have an opportunity to do something in house, and we have a nice, like this weekend, we have the 9/11 coming up. September 11th is coming up Friday, so we have a small ceremony at our post for that, and we'll ring the bell, and do those kind of things in remembrance of those that died on that day. Mm-hmm. And then the following Friday on the 18th is POW MIA Day, and we're going to have a remembrance wall at our post, and we're going to list all the Virginia vets that are still missing in action, and we're going to have a ceremony to recognize their sacrifices.
That's great.
And we've got some other things planned that I can't talk about because I don't want 50 million people showing up, because the King of Richmond said 50's all we're allowed. But we're planning good stuff, and it's really frustrating because we know we could do more.
Sure.
And the way we do more is by having people be a part of us.
Ron, tell us a little about your facility you got there in Norfolk.
So our post home is a canteen and a hall that can have parties of about 350. And we have a small hall that can have about another 100 in it. We have a nice kitchen area. We serve breakfast on the last Sunday of the month. And we also have Friday night dinners. That could be everything from, they just did spaghetti and meatballs. And it'll be doing open face roast beef sandwiches with mashed potatoes this Friday. And one of our organizations does steak night on the 5th Friday of the month.
That's awesome.
You get steak and a potato and salad and rolls for $12.
Wow.
Our beverage prices kick everybody else's ass in town. I can't tell you what those are by Virginia ABC rules. But we definitely rock everybody else's world on price points when it comes to having a beverage. We have a wine and beer license, but if you want to come in and have a shot, you bring your bottle. We put your name on it, and you get that bottle spilled for you. So those are some of the things we have going on. We do a lot of community service events. We just had a ceremony recognizing the firefighter, policeman, and paramedic of Norfolk of the year, the teachers of the year that we had identified, a scout of the year, and then we have 2 essay contests where we have a middle schooler and a high schooler write essays that are patriotic themed, and they have a chance to go up to national to win up to $30,000 for scholarships for college.
Jeez, wow.
So we have really impactful opportunities. It's just getting the word out for folks.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here, Billy.
Hey, Hugh, can you tell those seals to be quiet back there?
It's a Dependa call hour. Taps has gone down, so everybody who's willing to leave the base is out, and they're just looking for a gentleman suitor.
So, Ron, I pulled this up because one of the interesting numbers on here for me is right there in the middle, the helping struggling military families. Yeah. $5,184,868 amount of grants provided through the VFA Unmet Needs, covering housing for struggling military families since 2004. That is freaking impressive.
So that program is incredibly awesome. That program is a great godsend. And what happens is every VFW post has an opportunity to help vets. And that's what we're charged to do. And so a vet calls the post or comes down to the post home and says, hey, I'm having a struggle getting my electric bill paid, or I'm having a struggle getting my mortgage taken care of. We're going to, validate he's actually a service member, because that's really important to us, that it's not somebody trying to steal some Valor. Okay. We're going to validate that. And then from there, we're going to validate what their need is. And then that money gets deposited directly into their account. They don't get a check cut to them, so they can go do something else with it. But it's going to go to the electric company, or it's going to go to the gas company, or it's going to go to their mortgage company help them meet that unmet need that's there. That's what that program's all about.
That's like $325,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
These other numbers on here. This this fact sheet that you sent us is so impressive. Another one on here, especially I have children. It says inspiring patriotism in young people. 64,000 plus number of high school students who competed in the 2019-2020 VFW Voice of Democracy competition. And then 164,000 plus number of students who competed in the 2019-2020 VFW Patriots Pen competition. That is, to me, that's absolutely amazing, because all the Veterans Day, Memorial Day, specific key historical dates that we as a country celebrate. In my household, those are treated the same way as any other holiday, so that my children understand the importance of not just what the vets.
Right, you're not just getting an extra day off. You're not
getting a day off. This is why that the government is giving us this day. So just getting the younger people involved like that that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So this year, our essays, we have 2 of them, and they're due to the Post here at the end of this month. Okay. End of October. So by the 20th of October, wherever they were at in America, okay, if a kid wants to write an essay in the middle school or in the high school, they can just go down to the VFW and turn an essay in with the entry form if they go to the national VFW webpage. But the Voice of Democracy is an essay, and it's also going to be a speech, and the student is going to write about, is this the country the founders envisioned?
And they're gonna, if they win, they read that in DC.
Well, yeah, and so the way that goes down, the high schoolers will have that, they'll pen it, and they also have to give us a tape of them speaking their essay, and so that's what intimidates them.
Yeah,
okay,
sure, public speaking.
And they've got to figure that out, right? And so that gets turned in, and our Post gets together, and we judge the top 3 of all the entries for our Post, and then we take the top 3 and we send those to district, and they compete against the other 11 posts in Hampton Roads, and then the district figures out who the top 3 are. Then they go to the state of Virginia, and they get to challenge the other the departments or the divisions or districts in Virginia to find a department winner, and then that winner goes to the national, and the national has a chance to win $30,000.
That's pretty impressive,
right?
That's really cool.
But along the way, they also get a check from each place they win.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
So their efforts are not all the way in vain. They still get.
What are you talking about? We didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, Billy's kids aren't eligible for a while.
Yeah. And then the middle schoolers have a similar essay. They just have to write it, and they don't have to speak it into an essay.
That's pretty cool.
And so that's a really cool opportunity. And we do the same thing with the Scout of the Year. The Scout of the Year is going to be either an Eagle Scout, a Venture Crew, a Girl Scout who's earned gold. Any of those levels would be eligible for Scout of the Year. And the same kind of deal. They get a chance to compete at the Post level, go to district, go to state, and then national to compete for a national award.
That's pretty cool, man.
Really awesome.
That's awesome. So it's not just a bunch of old crotchety fucks sitting around drinking Bud Heavy and smoking Camel Reds or Newports anymore. It's you guys are doing a lot more. You're getting out there. You're actively involved in the community. You've created a national and an international network. You're constantly giving back. You're inviting people in. It seems like it's doing a lot.
But I really challenge like Meg and people that feel like we aren't doing enough to make us do more.
Yeah, Meg.
Mm-hmm.
And Meg will.
And I don't mean Meg as Meg as an individual, but I mean, we get a lot of that feedback from women that we aren't doing enough. Then make us do more.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great to hear, Ron. That really is. That's awesome. So before we close this out, Ron, I was going over your bio, so I just want to ask, simple question, sailor to sailor, best command, worst command.
Wow. Best command.
Don't talk about the way City. It gets Billy all fired up.
No, I don't want to talk about that ship. He was on the Shiloh. He was on the Shiloh, which is the sister ship. So
yeah, Shiloh was a kick-ass command for me. I was an intel chief, and I was sitting out there in Japan for Fukushima, so that was a pretty entertaining ride all on its own. But my last port visit, I got to go into South Sea Chinese Fleet headquarters and hand them a shit sandwich, so that was kind of fun.
Oh wait, so you were on the Shiloh during the 11 quake? Because I was up in Misawa.
Yeah.
I was stationed on land when that happened in Misawa.
Yeah, we were on Shiloh. My family had to depart and come back home after that. Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. Worst command, gosh, man, that sucks. Because I think every command has a worst command in it. But there's moments where Enterprise was terrible. 2003 deployment, we deployed and it probably wasn't safe. So I have to say that's a worst command. If we're deploying sailors and it's not necessarily safe, that sucks.
Yeah.
Man, the big old E, huh?
E, man.
He just came back because I was in the Enterprise battle group in 01.
Yeah.
So she just
we
came
missed
back.
each other. I came in November when we were in Portsmouth sitting in the mud, and we turned over engines and sucked catfish in, right?
Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then we tried to deploy after that.
So how was Stratcom? I saw that was on there too.
I'll tell you, as a missile geek, as a little kid watching the space program in the '60s, late '60s, going to Stratcom was incredible. And then I got to go on Shiloh and be ballistic missile defense intel guy, sitting off of North Korea and China, telling them they shouldn't shoot missiles.
Please.
Let us hit the button. I just want to blow your missile up, you know?
Just one time. Come on.
Just one time. And I hope my Captain James Jones is watching, because he was like, we had some moments that was pretty awesome. And you know, that was a fun few days. The rocket scientists at DIA were not happy with me, but we stayed on station because they weren't quite done, North Korea. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, and just the plethora of information that you were able to give us. Yeah, you know, I throw out some SAT words every once in a while. You know,
but no, if y'all are ever in Norfolk, just let me know ahead of time, and I'll come. You come up to the post, I'll buy you a drink.
I appreciate that. I'll be home at the end of the month.
All right, Ron.
And the same with any other vets. If you want to come and see what a real VFW post is all about, come to 4809 in Norfolk, Virginia.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ron. We appreciate you.
Talk soon, sir. Have a good night.
Have a great one.
Oh, God, you're so disgusting. I can't believe. Oh, God. Stop it, for fuck's sake.
Well, you know what, I'm glad we had him on the show. It debunked a lot of things.
I legitimately felt that way about the VFW. Like, I thought for sure.
I really was. That's why I think our generations of service members gravitate.
How old do you think I am?
You're like 32 or 31.
I'm just calling Billy old.
I know, when he was like, when he
Billy's
said,
like 50.
when he's, I'm not fucking 50, man. Like, I don't understand this. Why do you guys think I'm so old?
You make dad sounds when you stand up.
Yeah, and you breathe into the mic like.
Don't do it. Yeah, that's what you sound like in the green room. Yeah. No, I did. Man, I was temporarily part of the American Legion when I lived in Florida, and I didn't really like going because every time that I was down there, it was like the same 4 or 5 people. I didn't really care for them as individuals. And frankly, I didn't think I should have to pay that much for beer. It was like a stupid amount. But then my buddy used to go to the VFW in Atlantic Beach, and for $10, he could have 3.5 beers. Like good quality beers.
Oh,
ride his bike up there. Oh, like like 3 local IPAs that would cost like $4 or $5 at the brewery.
Yeah.
He'd get, 3 of them for $10. He just put a 10. He'd put a 10 on the table and get 3 of them, like no questions asked.
I did an event for a VFA as like a liquor promoter kind of thing, and I felt super uncomfortable in there. Not because I was a liquor promoter, but just because everyone in there was so much older, and I didn't even want to tell people that I was a veteran because, and I've heard before of the auxiliary thing that they'd be like, female auxiliary stations over there. Like,
and he's right. There's a lot of organizations. There's a lot of national, international organizations that women are not allowed to be a part of the main group, and they have an auxiliary.
Which is bullshit, and that's why why I'm glad we're doing stuff like this to get it out there to debunk all that.
I'm much more man than half of them.
All right,
okay, Meg is not allowed to fucking drink before the show anymore.
No more bourbon on a liquid diet. This is asinine.
Yeah, what the fuck? She's sweating. Look at her, she's sweating.
I don't sweat. I didn't tell you, Hugh, the other day.
I don't sweat. Who the fuck says that? I don't sweat.
I really don't. I'm like, it's really hard for me to sweat. But anyways, the other day I had a conversation we're having right now. And it made me so sick, and that's why I was like, I need to start this liquid diet. I spent like 2 hours like up checking that brisket. It was really bad.
I couldn't.
You say weird stuff. Yeah, so hopefully though, those of you who are going to your VFWs or will go to your VFWs, there's a lot of good shit there, man. The post that Ron is deputy commander of, or junior vice commander, I believe is the appropriate dialogue. I went there, man. There's a lot of shit. And my impression is that based on the conversations I had when I was there is a lot of stuff that should go on the wall, or they just don't have space for it. And apparently a lot of VFWs like that. People donate stuff when their husbands or whatnot pass away, and they just don't have the space to put it up, or they have to rotate it throughout the year. And it's a good organization to be a part of. I hope you guys go check it out, because we talked tonight. When I get home, I'm going to have to talk to Justin, take him down there, and work on getting these other organizations connected with the VFW to increase their reach. That all having been said,
Hugh is wearing a really sexy shirt right now, and you guys should support them.
Leashes of Valor. Amazing.
Oh, look, Leashes of Valor in your shirt. And then
there's not a lot under there.
We've said it multiple times that Meg is not working on her waxing ability, which means I'm probably going to bleed from the eyebrow area. If we reach our goal, Meg is going to wax my eyebrows, color them in, and paint Guinness's nails to match. And the money is going towards Leashes of Valor, who pairs service dogs with post 9/11 veterans to help with their PTSD, TBI, and MST. So obviously any amount helps. Any amount is grateful. And we will be doing it live at the brewery. So I'm very upset about, because I like going there and I don't want to stop going there, but we'll see how this goes. So we'll be doing it live at the brewery October 10th in the afternoon sometime. We'll post the details later. I know what I said.
Don't drink your cigars.
Have you been having bourbon as well?
No, bourbon's too expensive out here, and I don't know why. It makes zero sense to me. So your money is going towards a good cause, and you get something out of it. It's not I'll go ahead and say it because I don't care. It's not like when people's birthday comes around and they just pick an organization and Facebook auto-generates the same give me your money thing and then just inserts whatever the organization is. It's not, it goes towards something specific, intangible, that you can actually see the product of at the end of the whole thing, which I feel like makes a big difference. I'm pretty stingy with my money. I will almost never donate to people's GoFundMe's or their organizations. And I mean, like, I've turned down people's houses burning down, people in hospitals. Like, I don't give a fuck, because I have no way of knowing that money's going to go towards anything. And frankly, why don't you have insurance? But
we are literally going to present them live on our show with a check.
Yes. Yeah. Very excited for it. Yes, I can't wait. I'm so happy.
Yeah, so it's not, just like you said, Hugh, it's not just going to be like, oh, my house burned down and I have nothing. It's
You can go to their website and their Facebook, Leashes of Valor, and you can follow them at not only Leashes of Valor, but Leashes of Valor up close. And you can see what your money goes towards. The kind of upkeep they do with their facility, the dog training, and all all the hoopla. And it for me, anyways, if I'm going to donate my money and I can see what it's going towards and how it's going to be impacting people, I feel a lot better about the situation as a whole. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I feel like
So what do we got going on for Thursday? What is
Thursday? I'm really excited. Thursday, Senior Chief Oliver, retired, who owns Poseidon Brewery, which is the place that I frequent when I'm in Southern California. He is going to be our guest, and he's going to talk to us about his time in the Navy, both as a diver and with the Seabees, opening a small business, i.e. a brewery, and how he had to deal with COVID-19 as a small business owner in California, which, shocker, is drastically different than most other states. Because I I mean, I've drank at the brewery in Virginia. Like, that's not exactly a secret. And I'm sure, a lot of you who live in Florida are like, what virus? I thought it was a hurricane. But California is over here like, here's our fat list of requirements for you to continue to be a business. And it's kind of ridiculous. So he's going to be here to tell us all about that. And I'm very excited about it.
So stupid.
Also, we have a very, very special person on Monday as well.
Yeah, Meg, why don't you tell us about Monday?
So in honor of 9/11, we are actually going to be having my stepmom on. She is a survivor. She was in the towers, and she is also a mental health counselor. She decided to get that degree after having experienced everything that went on. So she's going to talk about her experience as a survivor, what she saw there, and kind of like mental health issues that arose with that, and also just like just normal health issues, because half of them are all sick now. A lot of people got cancer from it, so it's a huge dilemma up there still.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And I hear a lot of people are having trouble getting money that they were promised.
Yes.
After 9/11 happened, they said, we're going to take care of you. Now they're having trouble getting that care.
Yeah, and my stepmom, she's been trying to get care, and they have fought her tooth and nail the entire way. Like and she's one of those people where she is a very, very big advocate for herself, and it's taken her probably like 10 years.
Jeez.
10 years to get care.
That's asinine. Absolutely.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And she worked for the state of New York. So
that's even fucking worse. Come on, Giuliani, get it together.
He's not
okay. Well, he hasn't been there for, I don't know, forever.
Yeah, but he was there, and I kind of feel like you're Giuliani. You were the mayor of New York during 9/11. Walk in, throw it on the table, and say, "Make it happen."
No, we got nippled up Cuomo up there. He's got like his nipples pierced. You can see it in pictures. It's really funny.
Piece of shit, Cuomo. Fucking.
I can't wait for him to just like throw his shirt up and be like, "Oh, my nipples."
He's not Anthony Weiner. Come on now.
Oh my god!
Can't wait to see you guys on Thursday. Looking forward to it. You guys have a good night. Thanks for joining us here at Liberty Risk Podcast.